From the first second, tension dominated the room. Trump's tone was sharp, immediately casting doubt on Jasmine Crockett's legitimacy and authority. He opened with a biting remark about her qualifications, attempting to frame her as an outsider who didn't belong in the arena of power. There was nothing playful in his voice. It was the calculated aggression of someone used to being in control, eager to assert dominance before the debate even began. Jasmine, however, refused to flinch. Her response was calm but edged with steel. She met Trump's provocation head-on, stating flatly that she was present not for spectacle but for substance, and would not be silenced or intimidated by anyone. Her composure, in stark contrast to Trump's bluster, sent a clear message. She wasn't here to play by his rules. The dynamic was instantly set. Trump, the challenger, wielding mockery and bluster. Jasmine, the disruptor, drawing her strength from conviction and a lifetime of overcoming doubts. The opening exchange wasn't just personal. It tapped into something bigger, symbolizing a battle between old systems and rising voices demanding change. Each word was loaded, each pause felt like a threat, and beneath the surface both harbored deeper motivations and unspoken resentments. It was clear to everyone. This was not a debate, but a showdown, and neither Trump nor Jasmine would leave unchanged. The opening shots fired, Trump quickly turned the conversation to legacies. He dismissed Jasmine's entire political career with a sneer, branding her as loud but inconsequential. His words were designed to cut, evoking his history of diminishing anyone he saw as a threat. Trump painted his own legacy as one of hard-won triumph and global headlines, exaggerating his successes and ignoring the controversy swirling around his name. Jasmine refused to let him write her story. She countered with facts, stating that her record spoke for itself: advocacy, results, and a reputation for standing up to the powerful. She didn't rely on spectacle, but on substance, and pointedly referenced her transparency, contrasting it with Trump's well-documented secrecy. The first real shock landed when Jasmine demanded, live, that Trump reveal his tax history for the nation to see. The studio held its breath. For a moment, Trump faltered, visibly irritated. He deflected, claiming his finances were already the most scrutinized in history. But the damage was done. Jasmine's challenge cast doubt on the image Trump tried so hard to control. Suddenly, the debate was not just about words, but about truth, proof, and what each of them was hiding behind their carefully built public images. The conversation grew sharper as Trump shifted to gender. With a dismissive gesture, he implied that politics was no place for the weak, a thinly veiled attack meant to undermine Jasmine on the basis of her identity. His words dripped with condescension. He all but claimed that women like Jasmine lacked the toughness to survive in his world. It was a classic tactic: diminish the opponent, stir controversy, and draw attention away from any genuine debate. Jasmine, unfazed, answered with unyielding clarity. She asserted that every glass ceiling she'd shattered was built by men like Trump, and that every attempt to belittle her only strengthened her resolve. She reminded everyone listening that true power wasn't found in loud boasts or shallow bravado, but in persistence, skill, and courage to stand alone when necessary. Her words resonated well beyond the studio walls, echoing in the hearts of viewers who had watched similar power plays all their lives. In that moment, the conversation became more than just personal rivalry. It was a flashpoint in the wider struggle for representation and respect. Jasmine's defiance drew a visible line in the sand. Trump tried to laugh her off, but the effect was hollow. The crowd, and perhaps even Trump himself, realized the balance of the room had shifted. No longer just a battle of egos, this was now a war of ideas about who truly belonged at the table. The atmosphere turned colder as the conversation veered toward finances and accountability. Trump, eager to tout his wealth and business acumen, boasted about his supposed financial triumphs. But Jasmine was prepared. She pulled out a stack of documents and challenged him directly, reading out a list of his most publicized unpaid debts and lawsuits, some still unresolved. Her tone was crisp, her intent unmistakable: to force Trump into the uncomfortable light of transparency. Trump bristled, brushing off the lawsuits as the cost of success, and claiming that only the wealthy ever face such scrutiny. Yet Jasmine pressed harder, revealing that one of the most significant lawsuits came from a former Trump Organization employee who had accused him of illegal business practices. The revelation caused a wave of murmurs across the audience and set off a flurry of messages on social media. For a moment, Trump was uncharacteristically silent, caught between pride and exposure. Jasmine's strategy was clear. Financial bravado means nothing if it hides legal and ethical rot. The power in the room shifted again, the debate now a battle not only over words, but over hard evidence and public trust. The stakes were no longer abstract. Now, every claim had a paper trail, every boast a potential scandal, and Jasmine made sure the audience would remember. The tension escalated when Trump, feeling the pressure, pivoted to the personal. With icy precision, he referenced Jasmine's upbringing and family background, questioning whether her father's blue-collar roots explained what he called her aggressive attitude. His insinuation was clear, that her determination and passion were nothing more than a chip on her shoulder, born from resentment or lack. The attack was sharp, designed to unsettle and provoke. Jasmine didn't hesitate. She responded with unwavering pride, recounting how her father's hard work and dignity shaped her character. She explained that her family's struggles taught her to fight for fairness and respect, not just for herself, but for everyone who felt overlooked or belittled. Rather than shy away, Jasmine turned Trump's words into a tribute to resilience, transforming what was meant as an insult into a source of strength. The impact was immediate and emotional. The audience, previously divided, began to rally behind Jasmine, sensing the authenticity in her defense and the depth of her convictions. Trump, for a rare instant, looked uncertain. This wasn't just political theater anymore. It was a battle over whose values and story would resonate more powerfully with the country. Jasmine's personal truth had cut through the noise, leaving an impression that would linger long after the lights faded. Trump, unsettled by the emotional tide turning in Jasmine's favor, tried to reclaim control by challenging her intelligence. He loudly suggested an impromptu IQ test right there in the studio, declaring that only the truly smart deserved to lead or be heard. His voice rang with bravado, but beneath it was a hint of desperation, a need to re-establish himself as the superior force in the room. Jasmine met the challenge without a flicker of doubt. She refused to play by Trump's rules, instead stating that her life's work and record were proof enough of her intellect. She then delivered a powerful revelation. She had graduated at the top of her law class, while Trump's own academic history was riddled with rumors of cheating and privilege. The crowd erupted in a mix of laughter and disbelief. This sensational twist punctured Trump's aura of infallibility. Jasmine's poise in the face of provocation not only protected her dignity, but also exposed the shallow nature of Trump's attacks. For the audience, it became clear that true intelligence was not measured in test scores, but in resilience, achievement, and the courage to challenge those who claimed to know better. Jasmine's refusal to take the bait left Trump visibly frustrated and the energy in the room firmly on her side. The conversation turned razor-sharp as Jasmine shifted from personal attacks to the question of secrets and transparency in power. She directly challenged Trump about the rumors swirling around his efforts to keep key parts of his presidency classified for decades. Her tone was accusatory but controlled, pushing the debate into uncomfortable but necessary territory. Trump, momentarily thrown, defaulted to talking points about national security, insisting that certain truths had to remain hidden for the good of the country. But Jasmine pressed harder, brandishing a leaked memo that hinted at deeper, darker scandals yet to be revealed. The audience collectively leaned in, hungry for any new detail that might break through the wall of denial and spin. The effect was immediate. For the first time, Trump seemed to lose his composure, deflecting instead of attacking. The atmosphere was electric. Viewers sensed they were witnessing the tip of an iceberg. Jasmine had not only shaken Trump, but also planted doubt in the minds of millions about what secrets might still be lurking in the shadows. The battle was no longer just about past grievances, but about the right to know the truth behind those in power. As the conversation dug deeper, Trump let slip a rare glimpse of vulnerability. He confessed, almost offhand, that betrayal was what haunted him most. Friends, allies, even family turning against him when he least expected it. The admission was brief, but it revealed a core fear beneath his public bravado, the terror of isolation and losing control. For a fleeting moment, the persona of invincibility cracked, and the audience caught a glimpse of the man beneath the armor. Jasmine seized the moment, acknowledging that everyone bears scars and fears. Hers were forged by years of being underestimated and dismissed. She spoke candidly about how her own doubts became her greatest weapon, fueling her determination to stand firm in the face of ridicule. Her words reframed vulnerability as strength, resonating deeply with viewers who recognized themselves in her struggle. The scene left the audience in a rare state of quiet reflection. For all their differences and conflict, both Trump and Jasmine were revealed as human, shaped by wounds that refused to fully heal. The power dynamic shifted again, this time from public posturing to private truths, raising the stakes for what would come next in their confrontation. The topic abruptly shifted as Jasmine, capitalizing on the previous moment of honesty, turned the spotlight to philanthropy and financial ethics. She announced that she had donated half of her previous year's salary to women's shelters and community programs, offering concrete proof and receipts for the audience and cameras. Then, with deliberate force, she challenged Trump to disclose his own acts of charity, demanding not just claims, but evidence. Trump waved off the question with bravado, claiming that his name alone was a charitable brand and that no one gives more than Trump. Yet he refused to provide specifics, dodging with jokes about his many donations. Jasmine pressed further, recounting publicly known instances where Trump's charitable promises had fallen through or been exposed as self-serving publicity stunts. The effect was dramatic. For many watching, the difference was glaring. One candidate brought transparency and receipts, the other hid behind grand claims and blurred lines. The segment exposed not only contrasting values, but also a deeper divide about what leadership and responsibility actually mean. Jasmine's focus on real-world impact cut through Trump's bluster, and for a growing number of viewers, the question was no longer who was louder, but who was truly accountable. The clash now moved beyond the studio and into the court of public opinion. Trump, pointing to his massive following, boasted about his loyal supporters, insisting that crowds and ratings proved his worth. He claimed to be the voice of the real America, stoking the energy of his base with swagger and certainty. For him, popularity was proof enough of victory. Jasmine challenged this narrative, asserting that genuine loyalty can't be bought or manufactured with spectacle or empty slogans. She pointed to her own grassroots supporters, real people, not bots or paid amplifiers, who stood with her because of shared values and real-world results. She highlighted the difference between applause, driven by showmanship, and trust earned by integrity and action. As social media exploded in real time, the contrast between the two camps became clear. Hashtags trended, fan communities mobilized, and every word from both Trump and Jasmine rippled instantly through millions of screens. Yet, the segment revealed a deeper truth. Public support, while loud and influential, could be as fleeting as it was fervent. Only actions, not algorithms, would ultimately shape their legacies. The frenzy of the crowd was powerful, but the substance behind each movement mattered more than ever. The entire studio seemed to hold its breath as the confrontation reached its boiling point. Trump, growing impatient, finally demanded Jasmine to deliver her much-hyped 12 savage words. The challenge was meant to be a dismissal, a final attempt to trivialize her voice. But Jasmine stood tall, her expression unyielding. She met his gaze, paused for effect, and then spoke with absolute clarity. "Your empire is built on sand. Today, the tide comes for you." The words landed like a thunderclap, slicing through the noise and bravado that had defined the debate. The studio fell utterly silent, even the most ardent Trump supporters unable to mask their shock. For the first time, Trump was visibly shaken. His trademark confidence faltered as he looked away, unable to respond. In that charged silence, the balance of power in the room shifted decisively. Jasmine's line was more than a put-down. It was a verdict, a prophecy, and a call to account. The audience erupted in a wave of applause and disbelief, the moment spreading across social media within seconds. Jasmine had not only met the challenge, she had redefined it, seizing control of the narrative in front of millions. As the echoes of Jasmine's 12 words lingered, the atmosphere in the studio became electric and uncertain. Trump, faced with an unexpected silence and public vulnerability, tried to regain his composure. He delivered a defiant closing remark, insisting that true winners never quit, and that history would judge him, not fleeting applause. But his words sounded hollow, a stark contrast to the bravado he showed at the start. For the first time, he appeared diminished, his usual armor of confidence cracked by the moment. Jasmine, however, stood steady. Her final words were not a victory lap, but a quiet, unshakable assertion. Change is inevitable, and real power belongs to those who dare to speak the truth, even when it's unpopular. As she spoke, the audience's reaction was divided, some cheering, some stunned into silence, and others reaching for their phones to capture the fallout. The segment ended not with closure, but with a powerful sense of unresolved tension. The confrontation left both their reputations altered. Trump, now seen as vulnerable. Jasmine, as a formidable force unafraid to challenge the status quo. The nation was left buzzing, debates erupting everywhere, as viewers wondered what would come next. The unresolved drama guaranteed one thing: everyone would be back for the next round, hungry for more.